next speaker is Antonella from the Tor project, and she's going to tell us how the Tor project was designed and their open approach. Please, Antonella.
My name is Antonella. I'm a product designer. I have been traveling and working around the world the last 7 years. I'm quite tired now, so I want to stay at home. And I'm currently leading the UX team at the Tor project. The Tor project at the UX team at the Tor project works across all the teams. We work with the applications team, building Tor browser for Android and Tor browser for desktop. We work with the community team, traveling around the world in something that we call the Global South Initiative. I will talk a little bit about that later. Meeting human rights organizations and internet freedom people around the world. We work with the communications teams on things like end of year campaign and raising money. We work with the metrics team, finding a way to show our open data easily for users. We work with the network team also to improving the access to our users. The foundation of the Tor projects are based on creating technology that respects users. I really like this pyramid from the India box. It's very easy because Tor technology, it's like covering the base one. Tor technology is decentralized, it's private, it's open, it's an interoperable, it's tactical, it's secure, and we try to make it similar. Most of the talk is something that we are trying to focus on. We respect users in all the stages of our development. We run usability research without tracking users. Our approach to usability is built on respecting user data. We travel to places where our users are. We run usability tests in person. We don't collect data like the industry does. It's very hard, but it's very rewarding too. All our work is open. We have meetings on ERC. Overall, you can read everything what we do. If you type Antonella in our track bar, you can see what I have been doing the last month. Everything, people who came to our meetings is people like sometimes it's anonymous. So we work with people who sometimes we know who they are, sometimes we don't. And it's really nice. The way we work defines the product we build. I found this very nice graphic from opendesignKit.org which explains basically our process. This is very nice, but the process often is something like this. The EXC works more like a bridge. We try to take user stories that make sense for the user, and we try to improve our products and our technology to make them usable for our end users. Based on the work, we have people collecting feedback from a lot of channels, Reddit, Stack Overflow, our Backtracker, Google Play, everywhere. We work together on prioritize these tasks, and we try to scope these tasks based on sponsors. Validate. How we validate our assumptions? This year, we have been focusing on connecting with communities located in the Global South. If you make a line in a mapa mundi, you will find countries like Colombia, Uganda, Kenya, and India. We travel there, we meet people, we talk with them, we see how poor the infrastructure is, we see how expensive it's accessing to internet there, we see how oppressive governments are ruling these countries. And this allows us to understand our users' context. As I said before, we don't track users like the industry does. So the only way we have to understand our user needs is talking with them. Tor is an academic organization. We have a lot of working groups researching over Tor everywhere. I'm happy that we have more and more people interested in usability because academic research quite validates our assumptions. How we apply that in real life? Last year we launched Tor Browser 8. Tor Browser 8, we are saying that this is the year to try Tor. So it's nice. For who don't know, Tor Browser limits fingerprinting by normalizing different features that can track you, like everything in your browser, like your window size, the fonts you use, the localization you have, canvas. The more people who is using Tor that look the same, stronger Tor is. And this is by design. User experience for that needs to be a priority. But if you have more people using Tor, it's better for everybody. This Tor Browser 8 release was launched last year. It was a master release focusing on UX. I think, how many Tor users we have here? Whoa, nice. I think you remember the green about page, we changed it. So, there are a lot of things to do. I mean, there are a lot of work to do, but I'm really happy where we arrived here. As I said, this was a macro release focusing on end user experience, and I think it's very good. I will tell you a story about some features we have been working with. One of them is security expectation for onion services. When you visit onion services before, you don't have any clue about your security. You know, when I talk about security indicator, I'm talking about this tiny little icon that you have in the URL bar. We have been working on that. 7.4 doesn't have anything. On the best cases, you have nothing, but on the worst cases, you have like a red log, which is something like it's not real because onion services are often more secure than HTTP sites. There are some iterations that we made. We have onion padlocks for different types of onion configuration. This is super technical. If you want to know more about that, we can talk later. But I don't want to annoy you with this thing. Another thing we improved was the secret display. The secret display is a UI element that for sure makes part of the Tor browser experience. It tells users how the Tor connections have been made. We had several problems before. The secret display, this is important. Tor browser has first-party isolation by default. That means that each tab you open in Tor browser renders a new circuit for you. So basically, this circuit works per tab and per tab you are visiting. So this is why we moved this circuit display from the Tor button, which was like in every page, to the control center of hunger, which is pretty much sense because it works per side. Okay. Another thing we have been working with was the about Tor onboarding. People who arrive to Tor browser for first time have several ideas about what the browser is doing, but then during our usability research, we found that people open the browser and say, "Whoa, this is a normal browser." Yeah, for sure. So what we try to do is to explain how Tor works, how Tor browser can protect them on network level, on client level, and let's see. All these improvements we made on desktop have been made on our Tor browser for Android. Mobile are tracking devices, so we try to match futures with desktop and with mobile phone. It's very hard, but we are trying to do that. That's how it looks on the browser for Android. I will show that later. And last but not least, localization. The browser have been launched in 24 languages. I think it's nice because everything's doing it. And we know that localization is critical to reach end users. End users doesn't have technical background, maybe they don't even speak English. So we really want to reach more broad users, and localization is critical. How to contribute to the project? As I said, all our work is open, so you can come to our meetings. There are a lot of things to do you can't imagine. So if you are a designer and you have some hours and you are interested to do that, please ping me. I will be happy to explain how to join us. And what I will do now is to show here. This is a new version of the browser. Let me see if I can show you some things I have here. Here we are. You can download the browser alpha, which is new. If you want to try, you can find bugs, please support them. Thank you. I have some things to say. There is a Tor booth on the Key building. There is going to be a relays operator meetup tomorrow. So if you are a technical person and you want to collaborate with the network, you are welcome. That's
What time you are?
I don't know, but if you check Twitter, you will
I
see.
think it's 3 p.m. on Sunday.
On Sunday. Oh.
Yes, I have a question about your team and your tools to use to collaborate. So what's the size of the tech team and the design team? And what tool do you use to communicate between designers? And because you don't know each other, and which kind of tool do you use?
The Tor team, we have, which tools we use to communicate and to work in between teams. We work remotely, we are an open team. We have a core team which is like founded by the Tor Project Foundation, and then we have a community which is huge than us. We collaborate with us. Basically, we use IRC for communication. We're old school. With us and
Yes,
it's
but,
working. On design specifically, we have track. We have bug trackers, so we can collaborate. We have open discussions over track tickets. Tools. Do you want to know design tools?
Yeah, design.
Okay, I'm using Sketch. It's not open, but it's something that works.
Really like Sketch.
The size of the team. It's really on me. We are, the UX team is very small. We have a localization manager who helps us to connect with the localization lab to provide these localized versions of our products. We have a developer, front-end developer who help us to build something. Often we work one-on-one with developers. I mean, I have been doing the last improvements, so I have been working personally on them, and we work one-on-one with developers.
That's all.
You mentioned you did some user research on developing nations. I was wondering if they were, besides the infrastructure issues, were there any findings particular to the use of those contexts?
There are no besides infrastructure. I mean, there are a lot of issues, but infrastructure and access to web, to the internet, is like critical. Our idea is that if we can make Tor works on places over where internet is like super expensive, where data is like expensive, where infrastructure is poor, where hardware is old, then making that work in the north is very easy. So localization helps us to find metaphors to explain difficult concepts, because Tor is difficult technology to explain for people who doesn't have technical background. So the localization will help us a lot to find the words to explain non-tech people who are also end users to understand what is happening. There is a wiki page on our track. It's wiki.torproject.org. UXC. You have more information about our user research program. As I say, Tor Project is an NGO. We are founded by organizations. We have this program where we travel to Global South countries. We meet people in person, and this is critical for our work. Basically, because even if I want to track users in the browser, I can't. I don't know who is on the other side. We can't do that. It's challenging because it's like I'm coming from the commercial world, and now I'm here, and it's like one step more of difficult thing. But I have.
This kind of relates to the point you just made there. So when you're doing field research or in context studies like this, how do you balance like wanting to share kind of what you've learned in an open way, both with the team and also with, I guess, other contributors who might be distributed versus like the privacy of the individuals that you're interviewing?
Yeah, it's difficult. We have super technical users who have been using Tor so far. And when I say Tor, I'm talking about products. I mean, I'm talking about Tor browsers specifically. We want to make this technology available for people who doesn't have technical understanding, because very often people who most need this technology is people who live in oppressive regimes, and it's people who doesn't have the technical background to understand that. So we should balance what we are explaining and what we are not. Often we want to explain everything. We really believe that we can empower users through education, and if we can explain complex concepts in easy way people can understand, we really believe that users should opt in or opt out of things. So it's a balance between technical users and non-technical users. I'm focused on end users that are not technical, and this is what we are trying to do. After, all this year, this technology has been made for super techy people. It's fine, it's necessary, it's a process, but I think it's important to reach more non-technical.
Interesting and sort of talking away. In my opinion, you're doing a very good job actually in designing the units. I heard that it's topic in academia to design users in personal privacy. So, two questions. One question is the current UI, has it already been evaluated in academia? Universities, and the second question is if other open source projects are thinking of doing a similar approach. How do you publish your workflow?
Thank you. As I said, Tor Browser launched on, I think, October or November. We have people in universities like Princeton, New York University. They have researching groups on user technology. It's going to be patched in a few months, so okay. There are people writing about these improvements. I don't know if they are measuring what we have been releasing like 2 months ago, but some problems we have in addresses are problems that have been running our tour from a lot of kids. So this is not ending. I mean, this is just the first step to making this usable. I'm really looking forward for the next version. We will be 2009 and will be even better. And I hope we have academic research running questions about what we are doing. About what we are sharing, I'd say the wiki has quite information. If you want to read more, you can find it there. This place is a good place to share experiences and how we are working. And if we are like other projects, I mean, we work with the sales people also with this idea about to research on young users without tracking them. So yeah, I hope this is very like the place to share how we work.
Okay, if we can, could I get one of those to